Hey, welcome into it. This is the After the Show show. As we mentioned, if you were listening to our full 2-hour-long show, we promised you that we would be doing this. A lot of things going on this weekend. We were talking about how Formula One's in Spain. They just wrapped up their qualifying right as the first round of qualifying for Indycar gets underway. We'll explain that in a moment. Let's talk about the end of qualifying and how they're going to line up tomorrow for the Grand Prix of Spain as Q3 is done.
Running from 10 to 1. Mick Schumacher will start 10th, his best career start in F1, obviously.
Still, it's good for them.
No doubt.
And this is something that Haas F1 has needed. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
They've been really down the last couple of races, including at home in Miami. So, yeah, they've been looking for a rebound, and they might have just found it.
And you got Daniel Ricciardo 9th, Kevin Magnussen 8th, Valtteri Bottas 7th, Lewis Hamilton 6th, Sergio Perez 5th, George Russell 4th, Carlos Sainz 3rd, Max Verstappen 2nd, and you sandbagging son of a gun, you going to spin out on the first lap of qualifying, going out for Q3, and then turn right around and blast off a 1:18.75. Charles Leclerc.
All right, so your pole sitter, Charles Leclerc. We'll have to see how things go through tomorrow. Again, what was it, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central Time?
8. Pretty sure it's 8.
8 a.m. Central Time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so there you go. Now we get into this multiple round of qualifying over in IndyCar. Now, there's no bump day. Again, 33 cars start in Indy 500. There are 33 cars entered, so no bump day. But that being said, today they're going to set everything from positions 13 back through 33. Tomorrow, they take the top 12, they send them out again, and then they'll take the fastest 6 of those 12 and they'll send them out a third time. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go on through, but it's going to be a little bit before we get done with qualifying in IndyCar, so it won't be finalized by the time we get done. Yep. I'm not doing that long of an after-show show. Sorry, I'm just not doing it.
Well, they just have started. First car was Pato O'Ward. He just completed his run. Rinus VeeKay is now rolling.
Okay. What, by the way, did Pato O'Ward have to
He has set the benchmark. If they get this graphic off the screen, got it streaming right here via Peacock.
Sure.
Get the graphic off.
And that's the only place you can check out qualifying today is Peacock. Okay.
Killing me. We know what his IndyCar career and IndyCar 500, Indy 500 starts are. Here we go. Pato O'Ward, his 4 laps average was 233.037.
It's going to be a fast day. They are going to be kicking some speed out there in Indianapolis. There's no doubt about it. As far as the speeds are concerned, you got to remember, this is something that with the new engine regulations that are set to come into IndyCar, which now looks to be 2024, not next year. They were initially planning on trying to do it next year, but they thought a little bit too fast. Let's give them a little bit more time. Now that we're on the back end of COVID, give them a little bit more time to come out with the new engines. Remember, the new engines go up in displacement. Okay? Still going to be twin turbocharged V6 engines. Currently, this year and next, they're running 2.2-liter V6s. Next year, they'll be up to 2.4 liters. They're thinking that the horsepower output is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of Formula One territory, 1,000 horsepower. Heck, they just added 90 horsepower for this weekend, and they're already in near record-setting territory in qualifying.
We was talking about how they feared that the weather may be an issue. I don't think they can get much luckier because the weather passed north of the speedway.
True. But you never know. Maybe they'll get a passing shower later on in the day. So anyway, it'll be interesting to watch how IndyCar progresses. But if they're going to do that, if they're legitimately going to pull near 4 digits in horsepower, if I'm the FIA and they are the ones that are awarding the super license points for Formula One, I'm probably going to put a few more points for winning an IndyCar title.
I would go from, he just hit 241 going into turn. Oh, mother of Rinus VeeKay 234.702 lap 1.
Ouch. New benchmark. Anyway.
I would increase those super license points from 40 to 50.
Sure. Automatically give you that and second place, because you need 40 super license points, 40 points to get your super license. I might be willing to give second place 40.
I would go 50, 40, 30.
Wouldn't be a bad deal. We'll find out as time goes on whether or not the FIA listens to common sense. Hopefully they do. As far as things that are going on in the NASCAR world, we were talking about this. I want to elaborate a little bit more on what we had been talking about with Kyle Busch having no contract for next year.
Yeah.
We kind of surmise that there's one massive connection here. And nobody's talking about who's maybe negotiating with Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch isn't talking about it. Joe Gibbs Racing isn't talking about it. And quite frankly, neither is anybody else in the Cup Series circuit except for Toyota Racing Development President David Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point in time, all David Wilson can say is, I can't see a future where Kyle Busch doesn't retire in a Toyota with Joe Gibbs Racing. And that may very well happen. But if you're talking about a guy who has 60 wins and 2 Cup Series titles to his credit,
yeah,
I don't care if the man's 38, 39 years old like he is.
Go get it.
He's a desired guy.
Yeah, go get it. Go.
And we already know this. Stewart-Haas Racing has the number 10 car wide open at the end of this year because Eric Almirola is set to retire.
Yeah. Okay, new benchmark.
Welcome to live broadcasting, by the way,
welcome to live.
as I sneeze right on YouTube. I wonder if that'll show up on something like, I don't know, Jimmy
Blooper.
Fallon.
It might if I submit it.
Okay, go for it. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so now VK's run is completed.
Yeah.
He's at a 233.65.
Keep an eye on it.
Yep.
We don't know that Stewart-Haas Racing is going to get Kyle Busch. In fact, I would almost guarantee you there's going to be, at some point in time this year, a hardcore play by Joe Gibbs Racing toward Kyle Busch.
I could see that.
Despite the
major
fact that
play.
they're losing their primary major sponsor, which is M&M Mars.
Right.
Okay? You can't tell me that they're not going to be able to find another sponsor for Kyle Busch.
Of all people that they're working with through a marketing firm to help get the sponsorship, a marketing firm owned by JTG Daugherty.
Tad Geschecter of JTG Daugherty, which means now that a guy who owns a Chevrolet team is helping a Toyota team get sponsorship.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And, hey, they say politics makes strange bedfellows. Welcome to racing. But either way, I mean, if I'm Smithfield has been with Eric Almirola, gosh, going back to the time that he was running the 43.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't tell me that Smithfield would not be convinced to stay on board the number 10 car, even with their longtime driver, Eric Almirola, out if they got Kyle Busch.
I mean, the people make candied bacon all the time.
Heck yeah. I'd be all about that.
Not me.
You tried it?
Yes.
Really?
Can't do it.
Wow.
Can't do it. I can't bring myself to do it.
I don't see how you can't. But anyway, that's just me. I'll just put it out there. Again, we don't know, but we've had a track record on this show. Let's just say. We've had a track record where we've been pretty good at predicting these things. No, we don't know anything on the inside. But one of the first predictions that we made was when Kevin Harvick said he was leaving Richard Childress Racing, and he still had like a year and a half left on his contract. We went, well, we know that Tony Stewart and Kevin Harvick are really, really good friends. We could see Kevin Harvick going to Tony Stewart and Stewart-Haas Racing, and hey, guess what happened?
Ding, ding.
Yeah, nailed it. It's not the only thing that we've nailed. Now, nobody on planet Earth predicted Stewart-Haas Racing going to Ford. That blew everybody's mind except for the people inside Stewart-Haas Racing and inside Ford Performance, because they kept that just amazingly quiet.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other predictions that are out there. I'm not going to say that Kyle Busch is going to be in the 10 car next year, but I'm saying it's 50-50 at this point.
Strong possibility.
Better than even odds.
You're going to go better than 50-50?
I said better than 50-50.
What do you put the chances at?
I'm going to say 60-40.
Okay.
Barely over 50-50.
Not, but it's still, that's a soap opera that we're going to keep an eye on, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You thought about something there for a moment, John. I know you did.
Say it.
It.
Say it.
Come on.
I'm not up to speed on all this Kyle Busch.
But what are you thinking?
I'm thinking with what the Toyota dude said of Kyle Busch,
Mm-hmm.
you think they could come up with more money than Ford? If Kyle Busch were to move
That'd be a
over
battle.
to Stewart Haas,
That would be a battle. That would be a battle.
that's less than 50.
They can't afford Toyota for their, let's call it their nameplate. First thing when you think of Toyota, first person you think of, Kyle Busch.
Sure.
They can't afford to lose their nameplate. That's why they're making this huge, gigantic push. Because, say he does go to Ford, who's now the nameplate of Toyota.
Well, it's not necessarily going to Ford. If he was to fill a Stewart Haas car and Toyota bucks up more money than Ford, do you think Stewart Haas may go to Toyota?
No.
No.
You don't think a snowball's chance?
No. And the reason why I say no is because if you remember when Stewart Haas Racing came in, it was because Chevrolet paired he and Gene Haas together. Okay? That's where he was when they were with Joe Gibbs Racing. And when Joe Gibbs Racing went to Toyota, Chevrolet went, ugh! And then suddenly they started hearing rumors that Tony Stewart wanted to get into ownership. And they went, hey,
Yeah.
there's this guy over here that's with Chevrolet, Gene Haas.
And Chevrolet broke the bank to get Stewart back.
Yeah. The reason why Tony Stewart left Chevrolet to go to Ford was because he knew he was always going to be the small fish in the big pond that was dominated by Hendrick Motorsports. And he probably was always going to be second place, if not third place, behind Richard Childress Racing, the two heritage Chevrolet teams. He knew that he was always going to be overshadowed. He knew he could be a bigger fish in the Ford pond than he would ever be in the Chevrolet pond. That's why he left and went there. He knows, because he's been inside the hallways over at Joe Gibbs Racing, that he will never, ever be the big fish at Toyota. That's always going to be Joe Gibbs. Always.
Yeah.
So no, I doubt seriously Tony Stewart would go, and I'm almost guaranteeing Gene Haas would never go Toyota. That being said,
Same here.
Ford would love to have KBM, Kyle Busch Motorsports, running Ford F-150s instead of Toyota Tundras.
Because right now they've only got DGR running their trucks.
Yep, that's it. They got a very, very small, Front Row Motorsports.
But Front Row and DGR basically collaborate
Effectively, yeah. So it's very, very small sample for them, and I think that they would really like to expand that footprint out if they could get that opportunity.
Yeah.
So, again, time will tell. We shall see. I'm thinking probably by August we're going to start to see more cards being laid out on the table.
I can see that.
Time will tell. And then we get to fun parts. We're not going to name names here. But I'll say this. This year marks 35 years for me in broadcasting. I graduated broadcasting school almost exactly 35 years ago. Next month, June of 1987, I graduated broadcasting school.
But before we go down this road,
I'm
Okay.
going to move out of camera and let him have the floor on this one.
before we go down this road, I just want to shout out to my granddaughter who is who's watching us. Check this out. That on the screen. She's
Nice.
watching us on TV.
Nice.
See that?
There you go.
And Allison she's freaking out because, well, you look like me. I look like you.
Yeah.
And so she's
There's a
like,
reason we call ourselves brothers.
Papa, up over the TV. So.
Yeah. So,
Hi,
hi,
Allison.
Allison. How are you?
Hello.
But yeah, 35 years ago, in about 1 month from now, I will have graduated from broadcasting school. I went to broadcasting school almost directly out of high school because despite my senior year of high school being an intern at a radio station, I felt like I needed to learn more. And I did. Several years ago, as I was moving from one place to another, I came across the audition tape, inside words, in the radio business, that I used, that I needed to have pass muster with the executives and the higher up muckety mucks, the suits, if you will, of the broadcasting school to be able to graduate. And I listened to it. Wow, is that amateur time? And I was not trying to keep my amateur status for the Olympics. But woof. Yeah, it was in some ways painful to listen to. But I will say this. I didn't make the mistakes and leave them in the audition tape.
I'm going John Mayer's hat backwards on this one. Whoo!
I'll tell you right now, I made mistakes, and then I refined it, and I went back and I did it again, and I made these mistakes, and I went back and I refined it. And when you got to the final product, which 35 years later sounds ultimately amateurish, but it's not like I was stumbling over my words or I got facts wrong. Hint for those of you that are thinking about getting into broadcasting, if you're going to create an audition tape, be it audio or video, clean up the mistakes before you finalize it and send it out and make it public, whether or not you're sending it to a radio station or a TV station or a major syndicated group. We'll say, for example, the Indianapolis Racing Network or the Performance Racing Network
Or
the Motor
Racing
Racing
Network.
Network, otherwise known as MRN, PRN, and IRN. And certainly, don't put your massive gaffes up on YouTube for all the world to see.
Because kids, I'm actually getting a thrill out of being able to get to wrap this show up. Because kids, the University of North Carolina and the Gonzaga University Bulldogs are not members of the NJCAA.
No, they are not.
They're not members of the National Junior College Athletic Alliance.
No. Last I checked, as a matter of fact, both of them are pretty big powers.
Pretty prominent.
Whenever we get into the
Division I.
NCAA tournament. Notice no J.
All right. And in closing, and I'm pretty sure medical professionals will back me up on this one, a concussion is not a disease. A concussion is an injury.
Yeah. If Matt gets a concussion,
I'm injured.
I can't catch that. Now, I can go get a concussion on my own by doing something stupid,
John,
but
have
I
you ever
can't
caught a
catch it
concussion?
because Matt has it.
Have you ever caught a concussion, John?
I don't want to. Thank you very much.
No.
Please keep your distance.
I will keep my 6 feet over here.
Yes. It is not viral. It is not a disease. Yes, it is something that's very bad. It's a medical thing. Yes, we get that, but no, it's not a disease.
This said, and I'm going to use Steve's words here. This said individual that has these tapes was hired by a major sports network that covers a very major sports series,
Yep.
league, division, however you want to word it.
Yep.
The world we live in.
So, to wrap up today's YouTube show, pulling back the curtain on the broadcasting industry as a whole, I don't care whether you want to get into the television side or the radio side. When you create an audition tape, fix the problems before you send out everything and make it public.
A hint? Green screen is your friend.
That's also true. Create a neutral backdrop. If you're going to state that you are in a location, don't make it so obvious that you're not in said location. Just a tip from your friendly folks here at the Championship Racing Network. Again, we have helped you. If you have ever thought at any point in time about getting into broadcasting as a career or being on a microphone for a career, pay very close attention to small little tips like saying you're at a location but you're obviously not, and doing mistakes that are easily correctable but you didn't go back and correct them.
you're in the media center of a major motor speedway, but it's clearly in your bedroom.
Friendly little tips from your Uncle Steve, Uncle Matt, and Uncle John on the Championship Racing Network After Show. Y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the racing / qualifying. We'll talk to you again next weekend.
To quote Jerry Springer, take care of yourselves and each other.
This has been a presentation of the Championship Racing Network.